Today we are still talking about circles, converting equations to standard form. So in the event you're given a circle equation that's not already in standard form, how we go about that. In order to do that, we have to go back to an old topic from last semester. And that topic is completing the square. Now, this was a blip in the material last semester, so I'm sure a lot of y'all aren't going to recognize it until I show you the example. But just for a little bit of context, this is a solving method, but what I'm about to do here wasn't all of it. There would usually be more after it, but I just want to show you the important part for today's lesson. So I'm going to do one example. And the directions are just complete the square. So if we have the equation x squared plus 8x plus 2 equals 0. This is a quadratic trinomial. Normally we would try to factor it, but we can't factor this one. It's not factorable. So that's one of the reasons why we'd use completing the square. It's an alternative to quadratic formula. So we'd start with our equation like this. And the first goal is to get only the variables, the x's on the left side. So we'll move the 2 to the right side. So that's going to leave me with x squared plus 8x is equal to negative 2. And I'll give the step-by-step directions on the page as well as I go through. So that was first step, get x terms by themselves. This next step is where we're going to actually complete the square. We do several things all at the same time. So you're going to give yourself a little bit of space here. And like how I, in this line, left a gap here, you're going to do the same thing. I'm going to make it a little bigger, though. So if you remember from completing the square, we would add a term to both sides of the equation. So we would do plus a blank on both sides. So this step here is the completing the square. And if you remember a trinomial, the b term is the middle term attached to the x. Well, we add to both sides, but there's a little formula for it, b over 2 squared. So it would look like this. And our b value here is 8. So this is 8 over 2 squared. And then when we write it in the blank, we'll do the division but keep the squared. Don't actually square the term. So I'm putting 4 squared in the blank, and then I'll put 4 squared in the blank on the other side so they match. So kind of explaining my work here for a sec. Add b over 2 squared to both sides. And then I'm going to write this out again, but leave this as 4 squared. So once you do that, you're going to factor the left side. And when you factor it, it's just going to become x plus that b over 2 term squared. So this is where the shortcut comes in handy. The b over 2 term was 4. So when we factor this, it's just going to become x plus 4 the whole quantity squared. Now, I showed this when I taught this the first time. I'm going to show it again because I'm cutting out a lot of work when I'm doing this. That's what's nice. It's a shortcut. But for those of you who want to be able to see exactly what I'm doing and why it works out this way, I'll give you the quick little explanation here. So this is actually x squared plus 8x plus 16 if I square the 4. And then if I make my little t-chart to solve this, a times c, do an ACB chart, that would be 16 and b would be 8. Your factors would be 4 and 4 because 4 times 4 is 16 and 4 plus 4 is 8. So this thing factors as x plus 4, which we can condense to just x plus 4 squared. So by leaving this unsquared and knowing that this is going to be the factor when I factor it, I'm skipping all of this extra work and the thought process behind it. So that's why the trick works. Just go with it. It's going to save yourself a lot of time. So my equation now becomes x plus 4 squared equals, and then the right side you're always welcome to figure out whatever that number is. You're welcome to do that either with your calculator or with your own mental math. X plus 4 squared equals 14. And then as far as completing the square, I'm done. When we did these last semester, there'd be more steps, but I'm going to stop here because I've gone through the process that I wanted to show you. So we're going to have to do that for our problems. Now let's do an example with a circle equation. Convert the equation to standard form. And then just a reminder of standard form, which we discussed yesterday. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. That's going to be the goal. And I'll do 2 examples. First example, we have x squared plus 12x plus y squared plus 16y plus 19 is equal to 0. The process is going to be the same. Logic is going to be the same. So first off, we need all the variables on the left side. The 19 has to go. So we'll subtract it to the right side. Now we're left with x squared plus 12x plus y squared plus 16y equals negative 19. Now since we have 2 different variables, we're going to complete the square twice. One's for x and one's for y. So it helps if you kind of visually separate both of these. So in this next step, we need to complete the square twice. And you're welcome to do that one at a time if you'd like, but it is very easy to do it all at once. So that's how I'm going to do it. So I have x squared plus 12x. And then I'm going to need to add in that blank to complete the square for x. Plus y squared plus 16y. Then add another blank for the y's. Equals negative 19. And since I have two blanks added on the left, I have to do the same for the right. So now I'm going to complete the square. Starting with the x's, we go to the b term, the 12. Again, the little formula is b over 2 squared. So that means our b here is 12. So we're adding 12 over 2 squared. And remember, you divide in the parentheses, but keep the square. So this term is 6 squared. I'll go ahead and fill that in on the right side as well. And then I'll do it again for the y's. b over 2 squared. This time b is 16. So it's 16 over 2 squared. And 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 8 squared is the other term. And then next we can go ahead and factor both of these. So the x's will factor to just x plus 6 squared. And then the y's will factor just y plus 8 squared. So when I write this the final time, this will be my answer. The equation is x plus 6 squared plus y plus 8 squared equals, and then the right side I'll just put into my calculator. And we get 81. There's the equation. And then identifying center and radius. The center, reminder, the trick is to change the signs when you pull them out for the center. So instead of positive 6, it's negative 6. And instead of positive 8, it's negative 8. Finally, the radius. Remember, this number at the end is r squared, not r. So don't make that mistake. The radius is not 81. R squared is 81, meaning r is 9. And that's it. Any questions over this first example? I'm going to do one more of those. X squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 4y equals 6 plus 2x. Reminder, the initial goal is to have all the letters on the left side and just the constants on the right side, so that 2x needs moved. So I'll subtract 2x over to the left side. That will give us x squared minus 10x plus y squared plus 4y is equal to 6. And then we can section off the x's and the y's. Now I can set up the completing the square step. X squared minus 10x plus that blank plus y squared plus 4y plus the blank equals 6, and then we need 2 blanks on the right side. And then to complete the square, we take the b term, it's b over 2 squared. This time b is a negative number, negative 10 over 2 squared. Now when it's negative, you got to be extra careful and use parentheses. This will be negative 5 squared. And then I'll add negative 5 squared to the right side. And again with the y's, b over 2 squared. This time b is just 4. Four over 2 squared. 4 over 2 is 2, so this is 2 squared. Now we factor. This time, since it's a negative, it's going to be x minus 5 squared. And then the y's will be y plus 2 squared. My final equation is x minus 5 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals, and again you can use the calculator for the right side. Since that's a negative 5 squared, you must use parentheses in your calculator, it'll be wrong. 35. Lastly, we identify the center and the radius. Center, you flip the signs. So it's going to be positive 5, negative 2. Radius, we square root the number at the end, so it's the square root of 35.